BC? My name's Kieran. First time tuning in, welcome. If not, you know the deal. I was just watching this morning James Buttery's new Vinyl Finds all jazz video. Great stuff, James, as usual, if you're watching. And kind of inspired me to make a video. Had a big stack accumulating of records from various places for the past like 2 months, I would say. So James was sharing how, he wanted to just show everything before the end of the year, get stuff away, kind of fresh start for the year, whatever that means in this sick habit of collecting records. But so yeah, decided to jump on. I wasn't sure if I should make one video or multiple, but yeah, kind of divided it up here because the stack was pretty big, so might rip through a few videos. I got 3 different stacks here. So first one I'll start with is you probably see by the title, but yeah, long overdue kind of thank you VCLT that I received. Words can't really describe the generosity and the appreciation I have for this gift and for these records as well. So yeah, Chris Strong, who is someone who's been watching my videos for years, commenting. Chris, haven't really had any much interaction with you until now. We've gone back and forth a bit, but he reached out to me, wanted to kind of share a couple records that he have with me, and I can't really say anything other than thank you. And I will be like I said to you, sending you something next year when I get everything that I want sorted out. So yeah, these are the records. So first one is a record I'd seen the cover of, like I guess through Instagram or whatever, but didn't know at all. So it wasn't really on my radar of something I was looking for. 100% Pure Poison coming right at you. So this is a UK soul, like funk soul album on EMI. And as it turns out, I didn't know, but really rare. Well, I don't know actually how rare it is, but it seems to be quite sought after, and in terms of collectors and that whole scene. But yeah, so really appreciate this. Definitely dig the music. Don't really have any UK funk soul, except for maybe 1 or 2 that I can think of. So yeah, this was just wow. And then the other one is something that was on my radar. And Chris, I can't thank you enough for this, because I collect this label. Anyone that follows my channel knows I collect black jazz. Really hard to find around here, and I can imagine for you as well, Chris. I just don't see them locally. I think in 10 years of collecting, I've seen, a handful of black jazz records here. The ones I do have, I've gotten in the States usually. So yeah, and I've never seen a copy of either of the Henry Franklin records on black jazz. And this is The Skipper at Home. Had never heard it either, and it did not disappoint. Unbelievable record on black jazz, as was expected based around it being pretty sought after. So yeah, still missing The Skipper, so one day. I know that one's really hard to track down, but yeah, love it. So thank you, Chris. Really, this community has been awesome in so many ways. Just the knowledge that I've gained through watching people's videos, through Instagram, following people, Facebook groups. It's really, met people from all over the world. And yeah, just love it. Continue every day to appreciate it. And I always share kind of, when people who don't know anything about records, I always talk about this community and how awesome it is, and all the great people that I've kind of built connections with. Those of you who are watching, who I've connected with, yeah, you know who you are. So okay, back to some more records. The rest of this video, I'll just kind of show all the new releases and a few reissues, I guess, that I've picked up over the past few months. Basically all this stuff is from this fall. What we're listening to right now, actually I'll vibe off of James. You were showing an international Anthem record, which I will show as well, but I'm going to start off with a few international Anthem releases that I've picked up. over the course of, I guess, the past few months. They're not all recent releases, although mostly are. It's just what we're listening to, I think, which is an older one. I don't even know if it came out this year. Might have been 2018. But this is Reservoir. Really, this is what we're listening to right now. I listened to this a bunch in the car throughout the year, on and off, and that's where I just kind of decided to finally grab it when I saw it just kind of sitting up on display at the shop here. So yeah, this is elegantly orchestrated, sample-laden, lo-fi jazz instrumentals. So yeah, as you can hear, it's not like, it's kind of like some chill out music, which is really nice actually. So yeah, that's what we're listening to. International Anthem out of Chicago. If you don't know them, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, check them out. So I would say my favorite out of these International Anthem releases that I have is this one. This is the one you were showing, James, and this is unbelievable. I'm not the only one that loves this record. Damon Locke's Black Monument Ensemble, as James shared, crazy nice cover with the gold foil. If you want to hear James' description of it, I would say check out his video, James Buttery. I'll read it like he did, but spirit and sound of civil rights era gospel jazz and action reblooming, a hopeful new work inspired and instilled by the last half century of black music and movement. So yeah, just Damon Locke does electronics, bells, and voice on here. This was recorded live with kind of a choir, and you have Angel Dawid, or Angel, I'm not really sure how you say it, who I picked up this release also on here. This is something, may not be everyone's thing, but this really hit the spot for me. So I recommend you check that out. And this one, this is interesting. I know that not everyone's gonna be into this, but it is nice. It's varied in sound. Celestial psalms, however you say that, spiritual jazz experiments, and homemade hymns captured in everyday music memos by one woman, chorus of clarinets, voices, vessels, and keys. So this is titled The Oracle, and this is really cool. I think this was released on tape originally, and then they finally put it out on vinyl. And from what I sampled online, I was digging it, so I picked it up. Supporting International Anthem, really, really cool stuff they're putting out. And last one by them is this Junius Paul record, which is also really, really good. There's some stuff on here that is a bit on the freer side, so maybe not for everyone, but there are moments of this. It's also varied in sound, I would say. Polychromatic low-tone poems, freeform funk flight, and great black music turn the page to a brand new chapter in the Chicago sound. This one's titled Ism. And Junius Paul is a bassist, which is kind of my thing. Produced by Micaiah McCraven, and there's some really groovy kind of like head nodding stuff on here, and then it kind of gets a little bit out as well. And this is also some really nice packaging, like great texture on the sleeve. Love these colors, really speak to me. So yeah, recommend you check all these International Anthem releases out. I finally decided to pick up some of these Tone Poet releases after hearing them about them through the grapevine of the VC. I kind of dismissed them at first, just not really realizing what they were, but they're really high quality Blue Note releases at an affordable price, you know, on par with the Music Matters releases in terms of sound quality and in terms of the packaging and photography. They have a very similar look and feel. Yeah, so I checked two out. This is Tina Brooks' Minor Move. So this is there's a lot of them, not all, but are like unreleased sessions. Some of them that were released in the later 70s or 80s, but now they're getting like a more proper release with the proper artwork. So this is Tina Brooks, Lee Morgan on trumpet, Sonny Clark, Doug Watkins, and Art Blakey. So just an amazing lineup. Some of my favorites from that era, and this is just, yeah, as you would expect it to be. Great. Tina Bricks only had one release on Blue Note during his time, I believe, his only lead session. Could be wrong on that. And then an Andrew Hill record that I had heard about a bunch, I think from when Teddy had showed in his video, obviously is what made me kind of always want it, other than the fact that I love Andrew Hill's Blue Note work, but I didn't have Blackfire, I'd never heard it. Joe Henderson, Andrew Hill, Richard Davis, Roy Haynes, amazing lineup, like most of these Blue Note releases. But this one really is a sweet spot for me, kind of really starting to lean out a little bit, but still, you know, in that vein of the time, like that Blue Note sound without getting too crazy at all. But you just sense them leaning a little bit, so it's very interesting, but also very accessible. So I think this is a great starting point for people who are more into the hard bop sound, but kind of maybe want to get interested in a little bit freer stuff. Not that this is free, but it's like I said, a good starting point to spark people's interest and open up your ears a little bit, and it's interesting. This I picked up, I'd seen it for a while at the store, was curious about it, listened to it online, and decided to grab it because I did really enjoy it. This is Malim Mahmoud Gania with Pharoah Sanders, and I don't know anything about him actually. African musician, I think he's from Kenya, but I could be wrong, didn't really do the research. I know I read it when I picked this up a month or two ago. Trying to see if it says here, but this is he does, so this is from the early 90s, and it's like a form of like trance music, heavy on the percussion, very like tribal sounding, blended with the sounds of Pharoah Sanders is just like really a sweet spot for me. I really dig this. Might not be for everyone. Long tracks, 11 minutes, 9 minutes, 13 minutes, you know. This is, yeah, mesmerizing music. Not for everyone, but really nicely done release as well. Nice packaging, good sound. So I recommend you check this out if you're into Pharoah. Totally different than any other record with Pharoah on it. And a really interesting release from the early 90s that was never released on vinyl. I think it was just released on CD. So yeah, recommend you check that one out. Also, this made its way through the VC, highly regarded Braja. So this is Devin Braja Waldman, who this was actually recorded in Quebec City here, as well as New York City. But yeah, some of this was done here, so it's kind of a local record in a way. There's some Montreal connections to this record, and I know this is really well loved. I've listened to this a bunch and I really like it. There are some moments where I'm always like, oh, it's like jumps out of the pocket that it lies in for most of the time and kind of gets a bit freer and heavier. But overall, this is really great release from RR Gems Records, who put out the Muriel Grossman, and I know the second one is making its way around right now. People are receiving their packages. I haven't got one yet, but I'll probably pick it up. But I don't know if you can still track this down. I know they'll probably do a re-release of it, but see if you can find a copy if you dig what you hear online. And then lastly, finally got this. This is Sounds of Liberation. Picked up the unreleased one earlier in the year. This is a reissue of the album that was released in the 70s on Dogtown Records, and this one is just as good, obviously, as you'd expect. Philadelphia jazz with a lot of amazing musicians. This Sounds of Liberation group, Bayard Lancaster, Con Jamal, Monette Sudler, Dwight James, and a few others that I'm not really too familiar with. But this is also a sweet spot for me, kind of not free, but groovy and leaning out, but also deep and spiritual with that kind of funky edge too. So if you don't know Sounds of Liberation, check that out. I know most of you probably do, and maybe picked up this reissue. So yeah, that's it for the VCLT and the new releases and the reissues. So yeah, I'll cut this off here. and I'll start again with my other stacks. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.